Evening self-study back to the dormitory. A couple embraced, kissing a foot to me, kicked into the flower bed. I kissed top jock, who was squatting by the flower bed smoking a cigarette. The next day, top jock put out a wanted notice on me in the school campus forum. Which asshole took my first kiss last night? I was shocked and said, it wasn't me. That night, top jock blocked me in the flower bed. I'll see how you fly over to kiss me. Roses weave romantic dreams. Chase to see roses with endless romantic meaning. All the way to the romantic unending. Be sure to like, comment, forwarding, attention. Open the small bell. Beautiful drama on time to embrace. When I went back to my dormitory after studying in the evening, I passed by a couple. The boy was hugging the girl and kissing her. And I was like the dog that passed by. And they kicked me into the flower bed. I jumped on a guy by the flower bed and kissed him in an extremely weird position. I choked on the smell of cigarette smoke. The moment I realized it was a top jock, my hair stood on end. I got up in a hurry, covered my mouth, put on my hat and ran away. The next day the school campus forum was full of news about me. Someone recorded me being kicked into a flower bed by a couple and then jumping into top jock's arms and kissing him. Soon I was wanted by top jock all over the internet. What son of a bitch took my first kiss last night? The accompanying picture is a party campus forum. Someone posted a picture. You can see my back and top jock's face, as well as our kiss on the scene. I'm really innocent. How did I know top jock would be squatting there smoking? Ha 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 ha. Missy is like that passing dog being kicked into a flower bed. All couples. Civilized kissing. Love depends on everyone. Why does this outfit look so much like one shoe? The moment I saw my name, my alarm bells went off and I immediately replied, it's not me. Top jock replied back to me, found you. Save my life. I am also a victim of his father. Sia Lee is notoriously fierce. With an inch head and eyes as fierce as a vicious dog. Girls who liked him were afraid to confess their love to him. I naturally also afraid. The class are scared. Once the class ran back to the dormitory. However, that night, I don't know how he knew what time I was coming back and blocked me by the flower bed. Hooked his lips and smiled harshly. Come on. Show it again. I'll see how you fly over and kiss me. I was all excited. Showed him how to kick someone into the flower bed once. And then kicked him into the flower bed. I was too busy running away. Unsurprisingly, campus forum was again my message. Woman. Someone kicked top jock into the flower bed. Missy. You. Yes. Me. The. God. At the scene, I saw Sia Lee gritting his teeth and walking in a somewhat strange posture. The young lad's strength is really big. Wait a minute. This lady looks familiar. Is it the one who kissed top jock yesterday? I've been impotent. Really. These two things were not my intention. But they hurt Sia Lee. I intend to make it up to him. To prevent him from coming to my door. I took advantage of the absence of classes in the morning to find out that Sia Lee was in the big classroom. And immediately touched over to sneak in. I saw that he was in the last row. And no one was around. Sia Lee is lying on the table to sleep. Wearing a hoodie. Hat on the head to fall asleep. He had one hand resting on his face. The other reaching forward and out of the table. His fingers hanging limply. I carefully sat down beside him. He didn't stir. That was a relief to me. Eyes fell on the bruise marks on the back of his hand. Hastily pulling out the homemade blood circulation and blood stasis ointment. I smeared a bit on my index finger and then touched the back of his hand. Not hearing a sound, I continued to rub it on him. When I had applied and retrieved the ointment, I looked over again. Sia Lee had woken up at some point. Propping up his jaw and looking at me with scattered eyes. Hooking up a smile that is not considered a good person. His other hand cupped the back of my collar. Laughing gangly. He said, gotcha. His voice froze me for a moment. It sounded too familiar. A bit like my old online crush's voice. But I kicked the guy's ass. Lee can't be my online crush. He's a top jock and my online crush is a simple sweetheart. The day we broke up, He was still crying in his headset, asking me what he did wrong. I'm not sure what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about cutting ties after success. I lowered my voice so that the other students wouldn't notice the abnormality in our place and begged for forgiveness. I didn't do it on purpose. Will you let me go? Lee's smile is bad. Let you go can. Accompany me to sleep a little. Before the matter is cancelled. My hand once again uncontrollably and intimately slapped on his face. An intimate reddish 5-finger print surfaced. Everyone in the classroom looked towards us. The atmosphere was extraordinarily quiet. Lee's eyes narrowed and he clenched his back teeth. I'm talking about staying here with me for a nap. Me. The students who thought they had eaten a big melon. The teacher timely rounded off. Classes do not give me the main play accompaniment. Thankfully do not sleep. I did not dare to speak. Silently sat up straight and moved a few seats to one side. Silently pull away from Lee. After the teacher didn't pay attention to this side. Lee narrowed his eyes slightly and swept a careless glance at me with his head propped up. I hurriedly lowered my head. What's going on? Obviously I was a victim too. How was I supposed to know that the couple was spinning around while kissing and kicking me into the flower bed? It just happened to hit top jock? I took out my phone and pretended to be too preoccupied with my phone to notice what Lee looked like. The result was that I just happened to swipe over to the campus forum that Lee posted. The latest reply below. What? Liam's first kiss is still there? I'm intermittently crazy and have a persistent yawn. So I immediately replied. It's gone now. How come? Why don't you show me again? Lee had already arrived next to me at an unknown time. His tone was sinister. Taking my first kiss and still publicizing it outside. One shoe. You're good. I blinked my eyes and pretended not to understand. You also think I look good, right? Lee stared at my face for 2 to 3 seconds. Not knowing what came to his mind, he suddenly averted his gaze. The tips of his ears turned scarlet. I clenched my fist and coughed lightly. It's just like that. No. Why are you so shy? I'm completely bonded to Lee. Because my QQ number was leaked out at some point. Everyone knows that not only did I take away Liam's first kiss, but I also provoked him on the campus forum. She's definitely screwed. I second the motion. Thanks Lee. That girl took his first kiss and provoked him. I bet 50 cents. Lee is definitely on the warpath now. And the person in question didn't even seem to see the comments on the campus forum. He somehow knew where and when my class was held. I had just entered the classroom when I met a pair of familiar smiling eyes. The other person had one hand on the desktop. And the whole person greeted me lazily. The row was empty. No one dared to sit next to him. I smiled sarcastically and was about to run the rest of the way. I caught a glimpse of him raising his eyebrows slightly and looking at me good-naturedly. I take one more step forward and he's probably about to walk over and carry me over in front of all those people. I had the eyes to walk slowly over to him. Sit down. Eyes forward. Daze. Suddenly a soft chuckle comes from him beside me. Not looking at me? Me. Hands? I let out a sigh of relief and look over. He had his head propped up and his gaze was fixed straight on me. Instantly seizing my sight. Like a jaguar on the hunt. Staring with interest at his prey. Falling bit by bit into the trap he's laid out. I was sickened by my thoughts and hurriedly looked at his hand. It was still red. Even bruised. Both times had a connection to the flower bed. I pulled out the ointment I had with me. I'm sorry. Why don't you pass me your hand and I'll put some medicine on it? He lazily handed me a hand. How come it didn't heal last time I applied it? I explained. This needs to be used consistently. It's my negligence. This ointment will be given to you as an apology. Okay? Little student. How did I get this injury? I got it from. You want to get rid of me with just an ointment? I was extremely sincere. How can I get rid of you? He seemed to be exasperated and laughed. His palm half covering his face. How about applying medicine to me until my injury recovers? I thought for a moment and nodded. I caused it in the first place. So I'm responsible for it. Right? After applying one hand? I subconsciously patted the back of his hand. That hand. He lazily handed me his other hand. There are other places that hurt. Do you want to apply it? I subconsciously returned. Where? Here. I looked over in the direction he was pointing. It was his chest. Everyone says he's the kind of guy who looks skinny when he's dressed, but has a meaty body when he's undressed. But how I looked at him. I thought he had a slim build. I couldn't suppress my curiosity and glanced at his chest from time to time. Does he have abs or not? Want to know what abs feel like? His voice leapt close and I jumped. The sound of my heartbeat was deafening. And I hurriedly pulled away. How do you know? I hurriedly covered my mouth. How I blurted out what I really meant. His voice was low and teasing. Come here. I'll tell you. I hurriedly came over to him. Staring forward, not daring to show my face. Swallowed saliva to help the courage. In my ear. His voice rippled out in a low voice. Wipe it up with the sound of a fluttering, 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 fluttering. I blurted out. Are your abs that hard? Realizing that he had just deliberately teased me. I glared at him angrily. Continuing to anoint him. He's laughed enough not to make a fool of himself. The free hand is touching his cell phone. Not knowing what he's looking at. And smiling a little slutty? I withdrew my attention and rubbed his hand to remove the stasis. As I rubbed, my eyes somehow stared stupidly at his hand. Stunned for a few seconds. I don't even know what I was thinking. I only felt that this hand was slender. And the bony knuckles seemed like jade porcelain. It was the best-looking hands I had ever seen. Ghostly. I put my hand into his palm. Then, fingers crossed. Just like this pair of jade porcelain, like the finest crafts, hands grasped in the palm. That a touch of greenish purple set off these hands more white. Does it look good? I nodded subconsciously. Consciousness returned. I suddenly looked up and met Cieli's sly eyes. I immediately let go of my hands. But the other party held it tightly. With a smile on his lips. He looked at me and said word for word. Emily. You don't want to be known by the other students either. Right? The student in front of us stiffened and turned around. Staring at us with wide eyes. Then he turned back. Took out his cell phone. Looked down. And typed. It's over. My whole life is over. Don't freeze up. You've oohed and awed over my reputation too. We were the only ones left in the classroom. I looked up at the sound of his voice. His face seemed to be hidden in the light. And the light tinted his elegant and open eyebrows. He was very conspicuous. Conspicuous bag. I realized I had to hurry back. And just as I wanted to get up, my fingers tightened. I lowered my eyes. I realized that my hand was still held tightly in Cieli's palm. I hurriedly handed the ointment into his hand. You can let go now. He laughed, muddy, not security. And some lazy. You just in front of so many people deliberately hold my hand. I guarded 20 years of reputation are ruined by you. Give me a bottle of ointment, want to turn the page? My mind resounded with cackling. And I subconsciously returned. Then I'll rub your abs. He was stunned. Laughter swept over his shoulder. Looks like you've been lusting after me for a long time. So I'll give you a chance to get me. But my roommate says that women are 3 times hot and don't appreciate it when they get it. So I'll have to hang on to you first. I didn't say anything. He continued. Why don't you say anything? If you hang in there a little longer. Maybe it'll work out? I don't really want to. Why don't you move? It's only been a minute and you can't hold on anymore? It's true. Women are fickle. I'll touch it for you. Okay? Come on and touch it. It doesn't matter if you put on ointment or not. Just touch it. Me. Man. Your name is Fickle. His eyes showed a little bit of frustration. Really do not touch all? I really give you touch. No. How do you feel? He was in a hurry. He slightly lifted a corner of the hem of his shirt, revealing his muscle lines. Vaguely visible were abs and mermaid lines. I swallowed silently and hurriedly averted my gaze. Suddenly noticing outside the window. A dozen pairs of eyes stared at us in unison. His shirt was half exposed and I was blushing like a monkey's ass. We both had rumors of a future. It was too much to jump into. I decided to cut ties with Lee Si and get out of the limelight. Lately there have been people staring at us from time to time. They didn't mean any harm. But the excitement in their eyes was very familiar to me. That's the gaze of ship them. Even when I went back to the dormitory, my roommates looked at me with derisive gazes. I don't dare to go to see Lee Si anymore. I'm going to break up with him. I've hacked him on WeChat and phone. And I sent him a message before I hacked him. There is a mole. Terminate the transaction. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm backing out. This retreat is for life. It's best not to contact me for the rest of my life. I really didn't mean to kiss him and kick him into the flower bed in the first place. In the evening, after a day of not hooking up with Lee Si, I was slightly relieved. Suddenly a strange phone call came in. Emily. You have 5 minutes. If you don't come out to me, I'll put a loudspeaker under your dormitory building. The familiar voice made me stiffen. My voice trembled slightly. Put what horn? The other party laughed softly. Sorrowfully. Guess? A bad feeling swept over me. I immediately put on my jacket and rushed downstairs. Sure enough, I saw him standing under the women's dormitory across the street, facing the door, under the only tree. The face that attracts bees and butterflies, coupled with the eye-catching location. Extraordinarily eye-catching. I rushed over and hurriedly pulled him outside. He obediently followed me without resistance. When I got to the uninhabited grove, I pushed him against a tree. Bracing myself against the tree with one hand, I stopped him in my arms. From the outside it looked like I was using him. But he was so tall I had to tilt my head to see his face. He froze at first, then flushed slightly at the tips of his ears. I struck while the iron was hot and hurriedly asked, What do you want? His expression faded. I was going to ask you what you're doing by blacking out my contact information. Are you not responsible for my injuries? I looked around furtively and didn't see him before replying to him. Recently, rumors about us have been flying around. And my friends all believe that we have something fishy going on. But as you know, we are purely classmates. So let's just stay out of the limelight for a while. Shall we? I'll make it up to you when it's over. I don't mind if you throw me into a flower bed. He asked. When did we become purely classmates? I froze. When were we not? He laughed. His eyes dark and deep. You kissed me. Took my first kiss. And threw me into the flower bed. If it was someone else, do you know what would happen? He compared the height with the palm of his hand at his waist. 6 feet under. Shaylee, have never been so frustrated in my life. I have to pay back tenfold if someone else hurts me in a fight. Why don't you tell me why I don't beat you up? Are you M? His face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Half narrowing his eyes, the corners of his lips rose slightly. I'll give you 2 choices. First, be my girlfriend. Second, let me kiss back. My eyes widened, filled with horror. His smile faded and he explained with a bland look. Not really a girlfriend. My mom wants me on a blind date during this time and I need a girlfriend to deal with her. I sighed in relief. Kissing him was out of the question. I was afraid. It was so sudden last time. I didn't even feel a thing. I looked at him. I choose to be your fake girlfriend. The tip of his tongue pressed against his back teeth. Okay. Since I became his girlfriend, I've been tossing and turning and can't sleep at night. I'm always afraid of being found out. But luckily no one found out. It's just that Lee Tse is getting more and more overzealous. At first, he just asked me to help him apply medicine, which I agreed to. After all, it's my pot and I can't run away. Later, he began to wait for me under my dormitory building. He brought me breakfast and went to class with me. Roommates are suspicious of our relationship. Luckily, I was smart enough to fool them all. I specifically messaged Lee Si to tell him not to bring me food in the future. Why? I was honest. It's weird. It's like we're really in a relationship. And you don't owe me anything. It's good that I don't buy you breakfast. You don't have to buy it for me. And you don't have to accompany me to class. That's fine too. What? It's okay if you buy me breakfast. We'll go to class together. I'll go with my roommate. And you can go with your roommate. Soon. He sent his voice. I put on my headphones and clicked on the voice. His teeth-gnashing voice came. One shoe. If you want to do it, do the full set. My mom is coming in the next few days. If she hears something at school after that and doesn't believe you're my girlfriend, how are you going to pay for this loss? Or do you want to be my real boyfriend and girlfriend? If it's real, even without all this. You're right. I compromised. But he also gave in and said he'd tone it down a bit if he didn't bring me food afterward. I believed it. So the next day, I was in my business law elective and saw that familiar face in the classroom. My silence was deafening. My roommate teasingly raised an eyebrow at me, then left on her own, leaving me in front of Shaylee. Under his gaze, I resigned myself to taking the seat next to him. I sat upright with my hand propped up on my chin, covering my mouth and looking straight ahead. That way the others wouldn't know I was talking to him. Brother, didn't we have a deal? What I promised you was no breakfast delivery. And I really didn't deliver today. The man in front of us looked back at us every now and then, and I averted my eyes sheepishly. I purposely left him alone, letting him fend for himself. In class, however, the teacher talked about a case and randomly chose someone to answer. He raised his eyeglass frames and fixed his eyes on our side. I was so scared that I hurriedly lowered my head, not daring to make any eye contact with him. Let's ask the boy in the 7th row by the window wearing black to stand up and answer the question. What is the relationship between A and B in this case? Lee C stood up. He was a polytechnic and didn't know anything about business law. I didn't stop myself from looking up at him and covering my mouth to snicker, glancing at the corners of his lips. I had a feeling that something bad was going to happen. He calmly replied. A romantic relationship. The seat was in an uproar. Laughter mingled with small murmurs. I cracked up. The teacher cracked up too. And he chuckled. I tell you about the law. And you tell me about relationships? Well, you sit down. I was so angry I pinched his thigh. It was only when I heard him hiss that I relieved myself a little. As a result, there was a lot of talk around us. I told you they were in love. But you didn't believe me. You guys lost. Don't forget to buy me chili fries today. Crap. 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 Mom, I've hit a real CP. Help. Am I the only one who thinks they are so sweet? Wasn't Saley the most disobedient kid in the past? He won the national award. He's got a fierce temper. And he even beat up those gangsters outside. So who can control him? Only Winshu. Right? If they're not real, then I'm a fake. Oh. We're fake and you're real. I got even angrier. I immediately took out my cell phone and told him. Now that everyone is spreading the word, let's keep a little distance. Right? When the time comes that I need to act, I will definitely come. But during this time, can you let me clean myself up a bit? His face sank when he saw the message. Didn't say anything. And didn't immediately roll his eyes and leave. After a long time, I received a message from him. Good. After the first period, he got up, pulling out a bottle of Sharpies from his pocket. He put it on my desktop. This is for you. Then turned around and left. His figure extraordinarily thin and depressed. I suddenly felt that I was too mean to him. I thought he was so angry that he wouldn't see me again in the short term. I didn't realize that we were still in the same department. I have never seen him before. I didn't think much of it and came to the departmental dinner. As soon as I arrived at the box, I saw Cieli's face. Lightly lifting his eyes, he swept towards me carelessly, and then lowered his eyes and pretended not to recognize me. Very good. Also with me pretend not to recognize. Then I don't recognize him either. At first there was no abnormality. After we drank and went to KTV to sing, we couldn't stand it anymore. We proposed to play Truth or Dare. Within a few rounds, I lost. Next to me sat Chinyu, my best male friend in the club. He asked, "Have you ever been in love? Tell me about it." A burning eye looked at me and I looked up to meet Cieli's gaze. His gaze was cold. And he looked very unconcerned with me. A sudden pang of sourness flooded through me. There's nothing I can't say about this romance. So I told him the truth. I once fell in love with a bassoon online. When the pressure of college exams is too much love to take a break. The night I got into college I broke up with him. Just that part. Why do I feel that Lee's gaze is like a color-changing light? Green and red at the same time? Everyone had more or less heard about our relationship. They looked at us both derisively. Some good people followed and asked, "What about Lee C? Have you ever been in love?" Suddenly, I felt the heat of his gaze, wanting to take my skin off my bones. I cringed and subconsciously moved over to Chinyu beside me. His face became even darker, clenched his teeth and said word by word. Talked about an online love. She got into 211 after she scored on the college entrance exam. And told me to study hard in the future and dumped me. The girl laughed in surprise. Isn't our school 211? What a coincidence. Everyone's eyes swept back and forth between the two of us. Obviously saying that there was something fishy going on between the two of us. To be honest, I almost thought we were having an affair too. But the guy I was talking to said he was already working. And he sounded like an older man. It was completely different from Cieli's lazy and sparse voice. But I still feel weak. I hurriedly explained. It wasn't me. The one I talked to had a different voice from him. It was an uncle's voice. They laughed. Oh. So you like the uncle voice? No. I don't. I took a few sips of wine and my face was burning. I hurriedly excused myself to go to the restroom and went out. At the end of the corridor is a small balcony. I did not go to the toilet. Went to the balcony to get some air. Before I reached the place, a hand suddenly grabbed my wrist. The person pressed my whole body against the wall. That online boyfriend of yours back then. You really don't like him anymore? I realized it was Cieli. Relieved. Actually, I don't know myself. But I made a decision and never looked back. I haven't gone back to find each other in the past 2 years. I always think that people have to move on. So I've already moved on. I often think back to the days and nights before the college entrance exams. When I asked him questions and he solved them for me. I think I just got used to it rather than really liking him. And I shook my head. Don't like. That voice was just about as good as it could be to fool me out of my bitter Chaco. His face darkened. Gritting his teeth. He forced. You don't like the uncle voice? I specially pinned it for you in the first place. And you say you don't like it? I was completely dumbfounded. You what? Baby. You didn't recognize me. But I recognized you. How did you know I was here? Have you forgotten that software nowadays has an IP address? I was shocked. Are you a pervert? His body pressed down. And a faint smell of laundry detergent hit me. His voice was slightly hoarse. I'll admit to being a pervert. Little Emily. Do you know how long I've been looking for you? I panicked even more. You couldn't recognize me after all this time. You little heartless bastard. I was unconvinced. I thought you told me you worked. And you use an older man's voice. So how am I supposed to recognize you? He raised his eyebrows lightly and gave me a sidelong glance. Didn't you also tell me that you are a dishwasher and you can't wash the dishes every day? Me. Half a caddy is better than 8. Right? My friend said the little girl just like uncle. But I'm not. Can only pretend to you. The result you also dumped me. I was all ready with you to apply for the same school. Want to give you a surprise? You gave me a shock that night. These 2 years you did not find my existence. That night I squatted under your dormitory board, smoke a cigarette. Did not think that you actually took the initiative to kiss me. I kind of recognized where the rumors were coming from. He seems to be very aggrieved. But suddenly thought in me it seems to eat hard but not soft. His eyes abruptly became fierce. Little Emily. I want a statement from you now. Do you give it? I don't even know what I was thinking at that time. With the same as a lost mind. Suddenly tugged on his collar. Tilted his head and kissed him. Other than having an online relationship with him. That was the most rebellious thing I've ever done. His eyes were stunned. And his pupils slowly dilated. The tips of his ears were scarlet. And he didn't even do anything. Like he was already dumbfounded. I realized what I was doing, hurriedly let go of him and moved to the side. Subconsciously rubbed the skin of his mouth. Help. I'm going crazy. He snapped back to his senses. His eyes fixed on me. Twice now. You're responsible for me. Seeing my hesitation. His face sank. You said. What is our relationship now? Like a little kid asking me for a statement. Me. Just friends? Annoyed. He pressed his head down and kissed me. Indignantly. He asked. Do just friends kiss like that? I was shocked. A sudden shriek came from the other side of the hallway. Woohoo! Statement CP is real. Woohoo! What's with all the members of the club coming out? My reputation is ruined. It's all ruined. Of course. CLE's side is also angry. The kind that can't be coaxed. My mind began to frequently recall the scene when we first fell in love online. I was in my senior year of high school. And I was under a lot of pressure. So I thought of online dating to relieve my stress. I lied to him that I was a dishwasher. He lied to me that he was a businessman. We played games together. Made phone calls together. And gave each other gifts. I put on a full show. He really didn't suspect a thing and even offered to let me work in his company. I refused. Until the college entrance exam. He also specifically asked me which city I want to go to in the future. I told him. I also did not expect him to know which school I want to go to. Not to mention that he will follow me to apply for this school. We were still in touch after the college entrance exam. The night of the score. I chose to break up with him. I deleted all the contact information with him. Forcing myself to forget all this. I also deviated from this time. And then changed the evil no longer online dating. I don't even have a relationship. Who knew that retribution would come so early? But I really is a great good people. I will never again online dating. Sob. I'm not sure how to ease the situation now. My brother came from home. These things I can only put aside. My mom said my brother wanted to come to my school to visit. He recently mindless study. In this critical period of senior high school, easy to go on the fork in the road. Wanted me to enlighten him more. I didn't hesitate to pick up my brother and take him to a hotel. In the past few days, I took him around our school and took him to the library. There's always a shortage of hardworking people at school. It's no use just showing him the results of other people's efforts. That kind of motivation is only temporary. I want him to see what it takes to succeed. High school still has a good environment. College has a lot more temptations. There are still a lot of people who can restrain their fun-loving nature. Take the initiative to reduce socialization. Stay in the library. These days, every time I open the dialogue box with Lee C, I have a lot of things to say. But after thinking about it, I feel that continuing to be close to him is what's hurting him. I've already hurt him once. And he probably doesn't want any contact with me. At noon that day, I went out to eat with my brother and subconsciously thought of Lee C. I wondered what he was doing now. My brother suddenly said, "Sis, have you ever been in love? Why do you ask this all of a sudden?" My brother's face reddened. It's just that I have a girl I like very much. But her grades are much better than mine. And I'm afraid that by then our gap is getting wider and wider. So I wanted to ask you. I knocked his brain. Did not hold back a laugh. You kid, out of interest, ah. Before I could say any, chicken soup for the soul. An angry roar came from the distance. One shoe. You are coaxing other men instead of me. Aren't you? The familiar figure had already run up to us with lightning speed. Declaring his sovereignty over my brother. He glared at me angrily. My brother. Me. He looked like a little jilted husband. You kissed me twice and left marks on me. Are you just not going to take responsibility? Me. My brother. My younger brother first saw so unrestrained. Uneasy to look at me. Sister. This. He's so unruly about reputation. Lee C hesitated. Sister. His eyes light up. Immediately hold my brother's hands. Excitedly shouted. So it is brother-in-law. Really big water washed the temple of the Dragon King. A family does not know a family. He insisted on inviting us to dinner. And we were too happy to refuse. Before the food was served, he began to complain. Brother-in-law, let me tell you. I'm usually very timid and I'm particularly good at keeping my word. But your sister forced me to do it. So you have to think of a way to make her take responsibility for me. My brother looked at me hesitantly. Sister, you forced him? I quickly waved my hands. No. I didn't. I just accidentally kissed him twice. Aw shucks. I didn't kiss. I never thought that Cieli, who has always been cold to people and can't seem to get interested in anything, would be so good at acting. He began to complain to my brother. Acting. Soaring acting. I couldn't pick up on it at all. Within half an hour, my brother had begun to look at me with that pained look in his eyes. Sis. I didn't think you'd do this to an innocent guy like him. I broke down. Help. He's 20. My brother assured Cieli. Don't worry, little brother. Big brother will make the decision for you. I agree to this marriage on behalf of my family. After that, my sister will force you again. You will tell big brother. Me. SOS. Save me, save me, save me. I didn't expect that before my matter with Cieli was settled. The two of them had already gotten married. And Cieli also took the initiative to help me stop on the task of enlightening him. That afternoon, my brother had an epiphany. And without stopping, he bought a high-speed train ticket to go back to school to continue his studies. Me. Once I sent the people away, I stood behind Li Si, staring at him intently. Cieli was slightly vain and admitted his mistake extremely quickly. Little Emily. I was wrong. I pinched my waist. Then what? I was compelled. Everyone is saying that you abandoned me and moved on. Hanging out with a big handsome guy on campus for 3 days. I couldn't sit still before I came to find you. Good Lord. I didn't expect that either. Why is someone still spreading gossip about Li Si? He pressed. Are you really not going to want me if you don't contact me? This. Just friends. I can also accept. Don't want me. Okay? Help. This I really cannot resist. I'll think about it. He really let me meet his family in order to keep me as a virtual girlfriend. I've been sorting out my emotions over the past few days, thinking that I have to give him a piece of my mind. To end this farce. I thought that his family should be the kind of elegant and indifferent. Eat without speaking. Sleep without speaking type. As a result, I just arrived at the place and found out that his family lives in a detached house. Me. Sigma, mouth. His mom looks elegant and noble. Unattainable. The moment she saw me, she excitedly shook my hand. Thank you. Thank you. You're such a great person. No one could control him after all these years. We almost wanted to send him to jail to teach him a lesson. But luckily you took him in. Cieli's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. I couldn't hold back my laughter. I didn't realize that Cieli was treated like this at home. He secretly took my hand and tickled my palm. It tickles. In my ear was his lowered voice whispering. Little Emily. There's a punishment for getting too carried away. I laughed, raising my eyebrows with a slight hint of provocation. What punishment can there be? He hooked his lips and smiled a bewildering smile. I always have a bad feeling. After entering the door, his mom was very talkative, but his dad was very silent. It should be that kind of boring nature. Very complimentary. After talking for a while, his mom couldn't sit still. Xiao Wen Na. Since you've talked before, that must also understand each other. You see, he is not young. You can look around and strive to train him home. His father and I are ready to bride price. I just realized that the original Cieli said the rush is true. His parents are already in a hurry before he graduates. But I poked his arm and lowered my voice to ask. How do your parents know what we talked about before? His mom had sharp ears and immediately explained to me enthusiastically when she heard my words. You do not know, Before the college entrance exams, this kid fell in love. Do not write homework when you hold a cell phone, silly fun. but also with us to ensure that the grades will not decline. His father and I look at his grades really did not decline, but better. So I did not care about him. As a result, after the results of the college entrance examination came out, he was so disheveled that we knew that you two had broken up. We were also open to find a girlfriend for him, but he was not happy to see other girls. Some time ago, I found that his previous state is back again. Eat on the silly happy. We guessed that you two back together. As a result, it's not long before he brought you back. My son is really outstanding. Holding a cell phone and giggling? Is this CLE? Why does it feel like it's not the same person I know? CLE's face was so red with shame that her eyes fluttered and flickered. Don't open your eyes and don't even dare to meet my eyes. I smiled at my aunt. Auntie, we are still in the stage of getting to know each other. There is no rush. After the meal, his mom set us up. Asked CLE to take me for a walk in the garden. I had never been to the villa before and followed him for a walk in the garden. He coughed lightly. Don't take what my mom said to heart. She's just in a hurry about my life. You don't have to be embarrassed. I said. That is indeed a bit difficult. His complexion darkened, and even the ends of his eyes drooped. He looked resigned. I suddenly stopped in my tracks and he followed, looking at me quizzically. I tilted my head to look at him. Lower yourself a little. Then stood on my tiptoes and kissed him. He was baffled. What? What do you mean? Is it still an accident this time? I curved my lips and looked forward. It means, I think I want to get back together too, and I wanted to ask if you still want to? Heart beating fast. Very fast. Everything seemed to be slowed down. He asked me dumbly. One more kiss and I'll tell you. I stood on my tiptoes to kiss the side of his face, only to see him pouting his lips in an unforgiving, slightly disgruntled manner. The look in his eyes seemed to say, kiss this. I couldn't hold back my laughter. He couldn't wait to cut my face and kiss me deeply. Suddenly there were excited whispers from high above. Hubby. Look. My son has made it big. Kicked me to death. So sweet. Sob. I have a daughter-in-law too. Hubby. Is the bride price ready? Isn't $5 million too little? Why don't we add more? Our son is too much of a burden for a young girl to be with him. I couldn't hold back my laughter. CLE was annoyed. A layer of watery light in his dark eyes. Chagrined. Wen Xiaoshu. You're not concentrating. You just got me in your hands and you don't cherish it. I laughed even louder. My heart, which had been empty all along, seemed to be suddenly filled to the brim with some kind of emotion. Wen Xiaoshu. You're the one who said you'd get back together this time. If you dare to break up in the future, I'll break my dog's legs and let you die of heartache. Help. I didn't realize you were so cute. His temper suddenly went out, and he looked a bit squirmy. If you're cute, then you should love me more. Say Lee and I are really together. I don't like the publicity. So I made a deal with him. I told him not to make a big deal out of it. He nodded with a serious face. No sign of anger at all. I was impressed that Head changed his mind. But it didn't take long for me to realize that he's not changing his ways. He's just drilling a hole in the ground. I was waiting for him to leave class near the school building when I suddenly saw him. But a girl stopped him and seemed to be hitting on him. He looked languid, and his fingertips absently tapped the nameplate on his chest. I've never seen that nameplate before. I don't know what it says. The girl subconsciously looked at the nameplate. Shy face red. Quickly ran away. He then saw me and immediately ran towards me. During this period of time, every time he saw me, he ran. As if he couldn't wait to meet me. He saw me 2 or 3 times a day. When he reached me, I immediately grabbed the nameplate on his chest and took a look. Well, no wonder the girls were shy. I couldn't help but see that the nameplate he made had a few big words on it. When Zayash's only boyfriend. I couldn't help but hold back my laughter. Pretending to be serious. Explain. His eyes fluttered. His tone was stubborn. Other high school students have nameplates. What's wrong with my college student wanting to make one too? Not really. But can't you be yourself? My friends say that girls are insecure. If I don't do anything, who am I going to blame if you run away? Since I've been with him, I've been laughing more and more. I reached out and pinched his face. He let me do the kneading. I was merciful. Okay. You can wear it then. His eyes glowed and he cupped my face and kissed me. Suddenly I wanted to tell him everything I'd been thinking. Thanks, Lee. What's wrong? Actually, after meeting you, I kind of suspected that you're the one I had an online relationship with in the first place. Not only do you know what I like to eat, but you also know which set of food I eat. It's like you're here on purpose to seduce me. He stuck one hand in his pocket and pinched the tip of my nose with the other. Voice doting. Yes. Is to seduce you. Afraid that you will be snatched away. So you were seduced by me? Yes. I was. And am glad you insisted. Of course. My baby can't give up. If you test me again, I won't let go. I jumped into his arms. It's like what I did countless times in my dreams when I fell in love with him on the internet. He held me tightly. I'll never be apart again. We were walking side by side on the campus. On the tree-lined path. My voice suddenly came. Thank you, Lee. The couple who kissed and circled under my dormitory building. And kicked me into the flower bed and jumped into your arms. Are your friends? Right? His body stiffened and his voice drifted. No. No. I pinched his abs in frustration. He laughed out loud. Sorry. Sorry. It's my fault. Don't pinch. I can take it if you bite me. Fuck. His abs were pinching me. Then. You're forgiven. End of story.